My wife was charging her affair partner $800 a month to live in our basement. I was paying the mortgage on my own betrayal. Let me take you back to how this all started. Sarah and I had been married for 12 years. I'm a regional sales manager, which means I'm on the road about 15 days a month. Sarah worked part-time at a dental office and handled most of our home stuff. We seemed like the perfect team. When I'd come home from business trips, she'd always have my favorite dinner ready. She'd ask about my travels, massage my shoulders, tell me how much she missed me. Our house always smelled like fresh laundry and vanilla candles. Sarah was the kind of wife other men envied me for. About 8 months ago, I noticed our utility bills were higher. Not crazy higher, but enough that I mentioned it. Must be the old water heater, Sarah said, not looking up from her phone. I'll call someone to look at it. Then there were the Amazon packages. So many Amazon packages. Sarah said she was helping her sister organize her new apartment, buying things, and having them shipped to our house. Why not ship directly to Lisa's place? I asked. Her building has package theft issues, she said quickly. It's easier this way. I also started noticing sounds. Weird sounds. Like footsteps in the basement when Sarah was upstairs with me. Did you hear that? I'd ask. Hear what? The house is old, honey. It settles. But houses don't settle in a walking pattern. And they definitely don't settle at 2 a.m. when I got up to use the bathroom. The basement had always been my domain. My workshop, my gym equipment, storage. But suddenly Sarah was always finding reasons for me not to go down there. I'm doing a deep clean, she'd say. Or there's a water leak, don't go down there in your good clothes. 3 months ago, I came home early from a Dallas trip. Flight got cancelled, caught an earlier one. I pulled into our driveway at 3 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. Sarah's car was there, but there was another car too. A blue Honda Civic I didn't recognize. I walked into our house and called out, "Honey, I'm home." No answer. I could hear voices coming from the basement. Sarah's voice, and a man's voice. My heart started pounding. This can't be happening. Not Sarah. Not my Sarah. I crept toward the basement stairs and listened. Told you he wouldn't be back until tonight, Sarah was saying. I hate this sneaking around, the man replied. When are we going to tell him? I felt like I was going to vomit. I stormed down those stairs ready to catch them in the act. Ready to confront my cheating wife and whoever this man was. What I found was so much worse than I could have imagined. The basement wasn't just being used for an affair. Someone was living there. There was a bed, a mini fridge, a coffee maker, clothes hanging on a makeshift closet rod. It looked like a studio apartment. Sarah jumped up from the couch where she was sitting with a man I'd never seen before. Mid-40s, beard, wearing sweatpants like he owned the place. David. Sarah's face went white. You're home early. Who is this? I demanded. And why does it look like someone's living in my basement? The man stood up. Extended his hand like we were meeting at a barbecue. Hi, I'm Marcus. I rent the basement. I stared at him. Then at Sarah. Then back at him. You what? Sarah stepped between us. David, I can explain. Marcus needed a place to stay, and we needed extra income with your travel expenses. Travel expenses? Sarah, what travel expenses? The company pays for everything. Her face crumbled. And that's when the real truth came out. Marcus wasn't just renting our basement. He was Sarah's high school boyfriend. They'd reconnected on Facebook 2 years ago. He'd been going through a divorce and needed somewhere to stay temporarily. How long has he been living here? I asked. Sarah wouldn't meet my eyes. 8 months. 8 months. Almost my entire marriage's worth of business trips, this man had been living under my roof. Sleeping in my basement. Eating food I paid for. using utilities I paid for. But here's the part that made me see red: Sarah was charging him $800 a month in rent. Money that never made it to our joint account. Money she'd been keeping in a separate account I didn't know existed. "Where's the rent money, Sarah?" I was saving it. For us. For a vacation. I grabbed her phone and opened her banking app. She was too shocked to stop me. There was no vacation savings account. There were charges to hotels, restaurants, couples massages, weekend getaways. While I was in Phoenix and Atlanta and Denver working my ass off, my wife was using her boyfriend's rent money to take him on romantic trips. I was literally funding my wife's affair. But the story gets worse. So much worse. I demanded to see their text messages. Sarah tried to grab her phone back, but Marcus, this piece of work, actually told her to show me. "He deserves to know the truth," he said. The texts went back 2 years. Love messages. Plans to meet up. But here's what made my blood run cold: they weren't just planning to keep this secret forever. They were planning to take my house. In their messages, Sarah had promised Marcus that after our divorce, he could stay in the house. She'd been consulting with a lawyer about how to get the house in the settlement. She'd been documenting every business trip I took as abandonment. My wife wasn't just cheating on me. She was building a legal case to steal my home and give it to her lover. I took screenshots of everything. Every message. Every bank statement. Every receipt. Then I did something that surprised even me. I smiled. "Marcus," I said calmly, "I need you out of my house in 24 hours. "Now wait just a minute," he started. "No, you wait. You're trespassing. Sarah can't legally rent space in a house she doesn't own without my consent." Which she never got. I looked at my wife. This woman I'd loved for 12 years. "Sarah, we're done. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow." "David, please," she started crying. "We can work this out." "Work this out? You've been running a scam on me for 8 months. You used my house as your personal brothel and charged admission. Here's where it gets good." I called my lawyer that night. Turns out, Sarah's plan to use my business travel against me? It backfired spectacularly. I had documentation of every business trip. Company records. Expense reports. Proof that I was working to support our household while she was committing adultery and fraud. The separate bank account she'd been hiding? That became evidence of financial infidelity. The fact that she'd been illegally subletting part of our house without my knowledge or consent? That was breach of fiduciary duty. In our state, adultery affects asset division. Sarah's affair didn't just cost her our marriage. It cost her the house, half our savings, and she had to pay me alimony. Marcus got evicted and had to find somewhere else to play house. Turns out Sarah wasn't the only married woman he'd been helping with housing arrangements. His ex-wife was very interested to learn about his living situation. The divorce was final 4 months ago. I kept the house. Sarah moved into a 1-bedroom apartment across town. Alone. Sometimes I go down to the basement and remember what I found there. But instead of feeling angry, I feel grateful. Grateful that I found out who Sarah really was before I wasted another decade on her. Grateful that Marcus was stupid enough to put everything in text messages. Grateful that I trusted my gut when something felt wrong. The house is quiet now. Actually quiet. No mysterious footsteps. No lies about package deliveries or water heaters. I'm dating someone new. Jessica is a travel nurse, so she understands my work schedule. More importantly, she's honest. Refreshingly, completely honest. Sarah texted me last month asking if we could talk about reconciling. I replied with a screenshot of her message to Marcus about taking my house. I haven't heard from her since. Here's what I learned: trust your instincts. If something feels wrong in your marriage, investigate. Don't let